And it's a tall order, but it's what I got to do. It's not easy. And again, the main thing for myself, and if I had to give sort of not advice, but and not heavily, no ways instruction, I would say that it's about self definement. It's your essence. It's just connecting with your essence. Like there's no words for it in a sense, But I'm saying that your life actually counts, and your word and your action count, and your qualities count, right? And that you must be irreplaceable in the world when you die, in a positive way, like in a healthy way. And it's not just given to you for free. You don't, without effort and without sacrifice and compromise. It takes everything you got. It really takes everything you got. And most of the time you're blinded, so you don't even know what you're doing. You don't even know that that you are growing, that it is a process of growth, that of becoming, of soul. You don't know. I don't know. I'm in the dark most of the time. But I got to pull myself through it, or whatever that means. I don't know, it's a weird thing. So I'm lying in the bath, and and I'm just pondering. I got earplugs in, and I got headphones on, and I'm listening to some kind of, I don't know, what's it called? I actually still got it open. Meta loving kindness music heals, sleep, rejuvenate, relaxing soundscape in 432 hertz. I think it's 9 hours long. So I'm lying in the bath, and I'm trying to quieten my mind and dissolve into the unknown, into the mystery, and on the search for some understanding or clarity or answers. I wouldn't even say answers. Answers is a joke. Ricky, a friend of the channel, said, I can't remember the exact statement, but follow those who ask the questions and not who not say that they have the answers. Something like that. It's very hard to get answers. I mean, one of the questions I ask is that, does it really matter if we make, hell of our lives and hell for others, or that we actually try and evolve, and grow? Does it really matter? Like, does the universe really care? I mean, in the magnitude and the infinite beingness of the universe and everything else, is it really concerned, whether you tried or not? Sometimes I think yes, sometimes I think no. Sometimes I think, it doesn't matter. It matters to the individual. That you're going to take on the responsibility and say, it does make a difference. I don't know. I don't really believe in a hell. I do have an idea that maybe we get to the other side, and it's just like, there's a life review, and you feel the pain that you cause to others and yourself, and maybe you see an alternative way that your life would have turned out if you had been more, courageous and willing, and whatever it is. Something like that, and then you kind of just move on, and you just join the other souls, and this dimension, this time, this story, this narrative of your life just sort of fades away like a dream, or maybe your soul, there's something within you that has this agonizing, unsettled feeling and wants to do it again. I mean, who knows? Maybe it's all of the above. I mean, maybe it's endless amounts of possibilities, and there's not just one possibility. So maybe that's what's going on to a certain degree. So we don't really know, but I suppose it matters to me. It matters to me that I never got the love that I needed as a child. I never got the affection. I never got the attention. It does matter to me that I have self-loathing and an inner critic, and that I have the potential to make myself more miserable, by self-defeating, self-sabotaging, victimized behavior, angry with God, angry with the universe type of thing, embittered by very existence and the indifference of existence. I can make, I was speaking to my mother the other day about both of her sisters, and they were both, the one was an alcoholic and the other one was addicted to pharmaceuticals, and the one sister, one was name was Sheila, and Sheila was addicted to pain medication, and she ruined one of her kidneys. So her twin sister, Jean, gave her one of her kidneys, and she still continued with the drugs, the prescription, and she really just, made a whole mess of everything, really. And so, like, talking to my mother about it, it's like, well, where are they now? What difference does it make in the bigger scheme of things? Does it make a difference? Type of thing. Do we reincarnate? Again, we can just go on and then try and evolve our souls better. Is, whatever it is, even to understand the concept of a soul at the same time. What is it? That type of thing. And so on and so forth. What about, like, sort of serious bad dudes in this world that have caused a lot of harm to children? In the Bible it says somewhere that have a man or something or other cause harm to a child, that he shall be tossed into the fires of damnation or something like that. I remember Neil Kramer saying that, like, souls that don't evolve just return back to the ocean of existence. There's no more soul anymore, there's no more separation, they just be absorbed back into the whole. And he says it's a beautiful thing that, in a way, but then at the same time, like, is there a loss? Is there a pain? Is there anything serious about the state of existence? It damn sure feels like it's serious. Damn sure feels like there's a lot on the line. Pain is real, like even in the Matrix, it's like, they in an illustration, not an illustration, you know what I'm saying, and yet they can feel pain, in a way, although there isn't direct pain being caused to the actual physical body. Don't know my point there, but yes, we feel pain and we suffer, and it's not for nothing. And I don't think God would have just created a world where there is suffering for no reason, just for the sake of suffering. Then he would be a sadist and enjoy watching us suffer, like he says in The Devil's Advocate. These are questions that people don't really ask. I'm just thinking in general, they don't really contemplate all of these things. Maybe they do it in university to get their degree or something like that. But not many. Maybe they're doing philosophy or something like that. But they don't. It's not really, it's a subject, or it's not popular at all. And again, like I said before, we just waste time as human beings. We just really waste time. It's frightening how much we waste time. And what mockery we make of life and our existence. Because we do maybe feel that it is a mockery. We were brought up that way, the way that we treated our culture and society. So we do feel like it's a mockery on our being, on our soul. And so we're embittered and we're vengeful, we're resentful. And so, we just basically vampiristic. We're like a parasite because we're just so selfish and narcissistic, and we just don't care for the well-being of others or the emotional well-being of others. We don't even know how to do that for ourselves. So it's like one big freaking joke, man. It's just endless amount of pain and suffering and misery and sorrow and despair. And then a guy like Eckhart will come along and say, I can help you get rid of 95% of your unhappiness by just doing something very small, and you'll be all right. Again, this kind of idea that people just, it's like when they go to church. This was another thing that I was thinking about, like this idea of we pray to God for patience, we pray to God to, like, heal us, and yet we don't do any work ourselves. It's like, I was thinking about it, like so many people, God, please, open my heart to others, let me find patience, grant me this and grant me that, grant me the strength and whatever it is. And it's like, you're asking for cheat codes in the game here, my son. That's not the point. If I see that you're trying, I can kind of help you out, maybe, something, some way or another. I can send maybe synchronicities your way to remind you that you're on the right path or whatever it is. But this is on your head. This is on your shoulders. You didn't come here to babysit you, in a sense. You didn't come here so I could babysit you and spoon feed you everything. And that's what God becomes a lot to people, especially Jesus as well. You see these evangelists, and really, if you just watch it from the point of view that Jesus is the kind of fall guy for all of your sins, and he will rectify you, and he will straighten your spine, and have you standing up straight, and metaphorically speaking, I'm saying, because these evangelists say, these ones that pray, put their hands on the people and Jesus, take out the devil from this arthritis, from this woman, and people believe it because they're desperate. But this idea that, again, Jesus can, restore your faith, or God can restore your faith. It's like, maybe not. Maybe not. There definitely are. One has to pray. One has to pray. You don't have to. But for me, myself, I have to believe, or I have a notion, or live with the existence or the possibility of deity. And then my life has been orchestrated in certain ways by divine, intervention. I wouldn't just say intervention, but divine design. And so on and so forth. But in regards to just like, changing our habits, our bad habits, and praying to God to help us change our bad habits, and I see it all the time. With people and religious people, and this God is Jesus as their savior and their salvation. Not realizing, hold on, your salvation lies in your own hands. It doesn't mean that you don't pray for, your sick animal or your sick father or mother or whatever it might be. There are, you say please, and because that's what can we do for the other person's like physical health. It's like praying to God, please make her love me. Let's say I pray to God, I say, please God, make my mother see my emotional needs as a child. Please God, open my father's heart that he respects me for the authentic individual that I try and be, and not to live in his footsteps. Not to live so one-dimensionally like he does, in black and white. Please help him. It's like, buddy, take a hike. Look, I could be wrong, but I just don't see that. I think we just passing the buck. We just like sort of throwing up our hands, and which is important as well. But what I'm saying is that we just don't do the work. We do nothing. You know why? Because we're too shit scared. We're too afraid. And that's also what I was thinking as well. This is my second point. I think I'm getting a cold. I haven't had one for like quite a while. I think it's just stress. Look, when I think about people making like serious change, asking serious questions, making like serious change in their lives, I don't see it. I don't see it really in anybody in my life. I see certain changes. I see certain habits, change, but the person essentially themselves, they do mature in a sense, but I find the fundamental things with people, like in regards to insecurity and lack of confidence, or just say something, I don't know, I just don't see. I see they become maybe a little bit more open-minded, they don't become as judgmental. Like a friend of mine that I used to be best friends growing up with, and we lost touch or whatever it is, and we very two different people. I don't know, whatever it is, and so we're talking, and I've been I've reconnected with him again, and he sounds like a different kind of guy, and it sounds like he has changed. He's a lot more. I think life has been battering him around, and so he's a little bit more humble. He's not as sort of so sociable or seeking people's approval anymore. So he definitely has changed. But what I'm saying is that with people, what I certainly find is that they still don't. I mean, this is so cheesy, but they don't love themselves any much more. They don't respect or honor themselves as much anymore. As much as they need to be. They've made changes. Again, maybe they're a bit more open-minded. Maybe they're a bit more tolerant. Maybe they're less judgmental. Maybe they're slightly a bit more patient. But, I'm saying their personality has kind of evolved, and I suppose it should with time. But the fundamental core of who are you? What are you about? What's your purpose? You know, what are you like? Just who are you? What's your essence? What you doing here? What are you trying to do? You know, there doesn't seem. They say, I don't know. It's just a happening, or it's just like there doesn't seem to be a direct intention of healing and growth and progressing. And the people that do say that they do, you know, like in the spiritual community online that I've come across, you know, again, it's the actions. It's like, again, becoming a Reiki healer, becoming a, you know, fifth dimensional, whatever it is, you know, a channeler of all. It's okay. I mean, that's, you know, not for everybody, but again, it is. It's like becoming sort of a trance party person. You know, just putting on the act and doing the ritual, becoming vegan in that sense. You know, there's these trends, and then they fit it. And obviously, these are the things that I'm, you know, what I'm saying. But again, fundamentally, so they learn the terminology and the terms, but who they are stays. Their essence is still very immature. They're not somebody for myself that I could be like, wow, you know, I dig to really have a cup of coffee with this person. I'd really dig to have a relationship with them. I just don't feel that I connect with them. Like, I don't feel, you know, a warmth from them. I don't feel that there's a centeredness there. I don't feel there's a consistency in their personality or whatever in their being. I still feel they're very, like, sort of regressed and childish and emotionally based and very unconscious of their own fears and self-loathing and lack of self-worth and, you know, lack of purpose and lack of just defining a little bit of their lives and what they're about and what they have to show for themselves. I just don't feel that there's, like, you know, something really concrete there. I just don't feel it. I just don't see it. You know? Like, okay, so you talk about people that you and I know. I mean, like Russell Brand, you know, I gave him a hard time before, but whatever, but I think he's come a hell of a long way. And I think there's a sincerity there, even though the way he performs his act and everything else that he does, but there's a sincerity there. And there's a sincere effort, and he risks a lot. I mean, he's obviously, you know, he obviously has to toe a certain line. I mean, you're not that popular in this world, you know. And that's another thing, again, for most people, they don't, no, this is another point, but maybe for another time. But so Russell Brand, and you can see, you know, there's something really, I don't know, that's changed in JP Spears. I'm just talking about people that maybe you and I know, you know, that you've come across. But, you know, sometimes, yeah, it's very few. I'm trying to think of anybody else that I kind of, that you would know of, that are sort of more mainstream, you know, that really do it, that like really are incredible, you know. Again, I sometimes wonder about Jordan Peterson. I don't know. Look, amazing guy, you know, revolutionary, there's no question about it, but I don't know. Look, I don't know. I wouldn't be able to handle his level of fame either, you know, and the responsibility that falls on his shoulders and everything else. But I don't know. There's just something that, you know, with people that sort of evolve and whatever it is, there's more of a free spirit. There's more of just like a kind of a lovingness there, a nurturingness. It's just something more, like, I don't know, that I feel I can recognize and be like, I know that feeling. And so we share that in common. Because I feel I'm somebody who has grown. And again, I was born feeling different, and, you know, just everything was about me was different. And so maybe I am a very old soul. And then my point is, I'm going to end off, but like, my point is that, like, you know, it's also unreasonable to think that people can change in the system that we live in. You know, like my brother, you know, he's going to be 46 years old and married with 4 children in a job, and you know, and it's like there's just so much you'd have to put on pause and walk away from, and so much that he'd need to correct and fix up in his life, that it almost feels, like, for most people it's most likely impossible. Again, once you're over the age of 30, I think it's highly unlikely. It's not feasible without you kind of having some kind of proper nervous breakdown and just becoming, like, you know, completely, you know, heavily medicated. I just don't see it. I don't see it. Like, the person has to be off to a different start in their life. I'm saying from the beginning, from the get-go, they really needed to, you know, it's like an athlete at soccer, you know, or something or other. This is one of a kind, and they were born with the body type. They were born with the ability. in a sense, like a natural ability. There's something very, very profoundly different about this person from the get-go. And those are only the people that stand the chance. Most, like I'm saying, for the real transformation at the level that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the person that I am and that I feel myself to be. And I've got to take responsibility for that and own that. But I'm saying it's like from the very get-go. And then you're going to have the hardest life you can imagine, but you stand a very good chance of massive, massive transformation, and finding I don't know, whatever it is, connecting with your essence and your consistency. People do tell me that, like, not from the channel, but when I do send voice recordings, they say, like, you have a calmness in your voice, you have a centeredness or something in your voice that's just very comforting. Some people say that and they're drawn to that. And they find it like loving, and sincere and genuine. The people that are interested in that stuff like it. The people that don't like it. Most people can't see it, but one or two will say to me from time to time, they'll be like, yeah, like really when I'm having a rough day and all I just got to do is hear your voice. I remember people from the channel used to tell me that they used to fall asleep to my videos. I just found it comforting. So I hope and I carry that energy, and I work on that. And it's a tall order, but it's what I got to do. It's not easy. And again, the main thing for myself, and if I had to give sort of not advice, and not heavily no ways instruction, I would say that it's about a self-definement. It's your essence. It's just connecting with your essence. Like there's no words for it in a sense, but it's I'm saying that your life actually counts. And your word and your action count, and your qualities count, right? And that you must be irreplaceable in the world when you die, in a positive way, like in a healthy way. And it's not just given to you for free, you don't, without effort and without sacrifice and compromise. It takes everything you got. It really takes everything you got. And most of the time you're blinded, so you don't even know what you're doing. You don't even know that that you are growing, that it is a process of growth, that of becoming, of soul. That you don't know. I don't know. I'm in the dark most of the time, but I got to pull myself through it, or whatever that means. I don't know. It's a weird thing. But again, I listened to recordings that I did like a month ago, and I feel I'm so different already. There's massive growth happening for me. And then I ask myself, well, what's the point? In an indifferent universe, with so much else going on, well, what's the difference? Again, I used to look and say, well, it'll make a difference if I'm talking to 500 people. That would be a great impact. But now I'm talking to about who's made it this far, maybe 3 or 4, which is a large difference. And again, I'm not saying it's for the people, but it's for myself. To take myself seriously. Even though my whole upbringing and for a very long time in my life and still today, people don't take me seriously. My brothers will not ask me for one bit of advice, or just not even advice. They won't even say, listen, dude, can I talk to you? Because I know that you'll understand what's going on for me. I know that you'll be able to feel me, and I know that you won't judge me. And I'm so desperate, and I can't find anybody else. And if I find a psychologist, I have to pay them 1,000 Rand. Like $50 or $60 or something like that just for the hour, and I just don't want to do that. You're my bro, and you have love for me, but nobody, like my stepmom, I don't know who she has to talk to, but I mean, well, that situation's a bit, unusual or different, but they don't have anyone to talk to. But nobody comes along and says, listen, really, can you? It was one time with my brother, he was talking to me about his son, about something or other. And then he said, oh, look, I got to go. Well, this is very interesting. We'll continue the conversation. And we never did. But we were getting somewhere. That's too much for him. So even though that it's not recognized in others, and even though I can make a whole video for an hour or so, I'll get 1 or 2 people commenting, type of thing, and recognizing my efforts, 1 or 2, after like putting so much, energy into it and whatever it is. Again, if I was listening to someone like myself, I'd say, hey, this guy needs to have some feedback. That's what I do on YouTube. I find guys that have like 2 or 3 views. I mean, they come across my whatever, if I do see, and they're talking about something like psychological or spiritual, whatever it is, and then I'll make sure to comment and to like their videos. I try to do it for like an ongoing period of time, like this one guy, but then I realized he wasn't even sort of acknowledging my messages, and I was taking my time to write, and he just never bothered replying. I mean, over some time, I know I don't reply all the time directly to every, whatever, but I try and support the underdog here. But that's the thing, is that, the people that are still listening now, which again, it's only 3 or 4 of you, so you probably do comment every now and again, or you do thumbs up, I don't know. But the importance of acknowledging each other's spirit, and energy in that way, so that we can acknowledge it in ourselves as well. There's much more to be said. I've kind of wandered off the path there of this conversation, but I think I've said some relevant things. Thanks for listening. Take care.